The old Blackwood Academy had been shut down for years. A tragic fire decades ago had forced its closure, but no one in town ever tried to rebuild. It still stood at the edge of the woods, its tall windows dark and hollow, its rusted gates hanging, open as if inviting someone inside. No one accepted the invitation. No one, except me. It started when I moved to town and took a shortcut through the academy grounds. I heard the bell, a single distant chime echoing through the halls. But the school had been abandoned for years. There were no bells left to ring. I told myself it was just my imagination, but something in the air felt wrong. The next night, I had a dream. I was standing inside a classroom, the chalkboard covered in writing I couldn't read. The desks were still arranged neatly, but they weren't empty. Children sat motionless in their seats, heads bowed. At the front of the room stood a tall, shadowy figure, a teacher. I woke up gasping. But the worst part? There was chalk dust on my fingers. Curiosity got the best of me. I went back to the school, stepping through the broken doors. The air was thick with the scent of old books, soot, and something else. Something sour. My footsteps echoed as I walked down the corridor, past lockers that were rusted shut. The walls were lined with class photos, faces staring back at me. But something was off. Their eyes were too dark. Then I heard it. The sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the end of the hall. My blood ran cold as I turned toward the sound. The door to room 206, the same classroom from my dream, swung open by itself. I should have run, but instead, I stepped inside. The desks were still arranged neatly, just like in my dream. The chalkboard was covered in writing, but this time I could read it. The words repeated over and over, written in shaky, desperate handwriting. Class is not dismissed. The moment I turned to leave, a loud screech filled the air. The desks slid across the floor as if being yanked by unseen hands. My flashlight flickered, and in that brief second of darkness I saw them, the students. They were still sitting in their seats, but now their heads slowly turned toward me in unison. Their faces were gray and sunken, their mouths hanging open, but no sound came out. The teacher stood at the front, tall and motionless, his face hidden in the shadows. Then he raised his hand and pointed directly at me. The door slammed shut. The windows vanished. The whispers filled my ears, and I understood what they were saying. Sit down. Class is not dismissed. I don't know how I got out. I don't remember escaping. One moment I was there, trapped in that endless lesson, and the next I was outside, stumbling into the street as the school stood silent behind me. The next morning I checked the records at the library. Room 206 was where the fire started. The entire class and the teacher and me were trapped inside. No one made it out. I don't walk past Blackwood Academy anymore. But sometimes, when the wind is just right, I still hear the bell ring. And I know class is still in session.